Hi everyone, just thank you for joining me, and I just want to thank everyone for who is going to join today. It's going to be fun. For anyone that doesn't know, my name is Kat and I'm a big Criminal Minds fan, and I'm going to be chatting with Criminal Minds executive producer Harry Bing when he joins me in a minute. When I figure this out. Just waiting for Harry to join me and then we'll be getting going. So yeah, hope everyone is well, and thank you for joining me from wherever you're joining me from. I know it's different times and places everywhere. It is an 8-hour time difference for me and Harry, so this is why we're doing it at this time. Just give me 1 second. See if I can. Just waiting for Harry to join and we'll be good to go. One second, guys. This is working well so far. Just waiting for Harry to join the connection and then we'll be good to go, guys. If anyone does have any questions, you can ask them through the comments. We will be reading through them and reading everything we can out and everything like that. See. Thank you for everyone that is joining so far. I'm just trying to wait for Harry to join. Just trying to figure out what's going on here. Yeah, I saw that too. I think it's just a bit of it. Trying to add him myself, but it's not letting me. Hold on. Technology is against us right now. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'll get there eventually. You can do BJ if you can. I've just messaged him as well just to tell him to join my live and done it that way. And thank you for joining, BJ. Nice to see you. We will get there, guys. It's not an easy technology thing to work out if you're not used to it. Even I'm not used to this. So we will get there. He's typing, so let's start. We'll get there, guys. Just a minute. It's just having a bit of technical difficulties. So anyone that does know, I do interviews with members of film, TV people, and it's how I started interviewing Harry. So I will post a link right now, so if anyone wants to check them out, you can. There's quite a few on there. We will get there. Something always goes wrong. I actually just asked Harry myself if I could do it. I'm in touch with him quite often, so it's just something I thought would be pretty cool to do. We are trying to get him to join. It's just a few issues we are having, which we can't seem to figure out. Aha, okay. Favorite person I've interviewed. Hi.
Hi.
We got there eventually.
Too much electronics.
Definitely, I'm the same. I'm still getting used to this. Just to answer that person's question, probably my favourite person I've interviewed would be Ron Pope, who's my favourite music artist of all time. But hi, thank you for joining me.
Oh, my pleasure.
You
Hi,
good?
Hi, everybody. Can they see me? No.
Yeah, you can see you. They can see you.
Oh,
They can see us both. They can see us both.
Sorry for the COVID beard.
It's good. We're all quarantine life's pretty do what you can right now. And growing a beard seems like a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd start with asking some questions that everyone's been asking me over the last few days, and then we can go through the comments and answer any that people have or any questions they want to ask through that.
Sure.
How are you? Are you good?
We're all good. We're hunkered down, missing seeing the grandkids. But it's all good. My sons are doing our marketing for us, so we're not taking any chances.
Yeah, and you're in a sunny place, so that works out well as well. You're in a very sunny place.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. So I'm gonna start. Okay, so a couple of these are sort of the same questions, so I'm gonna roll them into one. But I'm gonna have to keep turning to my left, guys, because that's where my questions are. So how many years have you been working in the industry?
Well, 1964, May
Wow.
1964, I got out of the service and went to work in the mailroom of a small commercial production company, and then went from the mailroom into editorial, into being a PA on the set, and it went on from there.
Do you remember what the first show you ever worked on was?
Yeah, Chevrolet commercial. It was a real big one too. We blew it up. We blew up the Chevy and then reversed the film like it was coming back together. But we had
Oh
to
wow,
do
that's cool.
we had to do it in a special way, because
That's
otherwise
pretty cool.
all you see is smoke and fire, you know.
Definitely. Okay, next one. What has been the highlight of your career so far?
My what? The highlight?
The highlight, the highlight or favorite moment.
Well, my favorite episode, even though I'm partial to Criminal Minds, my favorite episode was on X-Files with Kim Manners, and this guy jilted his girlfriend on Valentine's Day, and she cast a spell on him while he was driving his car. First it was dry, then it was raining, then the rain turned to hail, then the big chunks of ice.
Their internet freezes.
It was quite a shoot. My favorite X-Files, anyway.
I've only seen like the newer seasons of them because I was really young when that came out, and I've never really gotten around to watch them. But it's a pretty cool show. Like, definitely is a pretty cool show.
I never watched after I left.
I watched the first half, and I got a bit creeped out by that. So I'm going to ask this question, which I don't know if you are going to be able to answer it, but every single person has either asked me this question or wants me to ask this question. Yeah. So everyone wants to know, like, do you know why the show was cancelled, or is it just because in general, and obviously it's run by two studios?
I think it was a multitude of things. It had run its course one as far as CBS was concerned.
Yeah.
The ratings had come down a bit, but they were still hanging in. As you can tell, when we did come back on for season 15, they spiked up again.
Yeah.
The fans missed it. It was such a staple every Wednesday night, 9 o'clock, and then it moved to 10. But it had run its course. The actors were all going to be due for a new contract, so even though our show was probably the least expensive of the big shows out there, we had held the budget down every year, and we're still able to give it that zest to make it interesting for everybody. But that was going to be a financial factor for them.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever put out feelers to see if it would be palatable. I don't know, because the unusual thing was we worked for ABC Productions.
It's both in it.
They were our studio, and CBS was the network. So these days, most networks have their own studios producing for them. It's cheaper. They don't have to have a markup and all this other license fee crap. It's out the door. So there was always a negotiation every year.
Yeah, I remember them. But yeah, it's one of them things.
We always knew it was going to come, but they always hung on till the last minute, the last piece of the negotiation. Then the big was international, which is something you saw. That's where all the money was. After
in the other countries.
It was huge all over the world. I imagine some of the people watching us today are from all over the country and the world, right?
Yeah. I think from what I remember I've seen in a mute view, it showed in 42 countries around the world.
Yes.
Which is massive. Yeah, that's crazy.
Not too many shows do that.
Yeah, definitely. I know it's like one show that used to be showed a lot over the years here, but in the last couple of years, they hardly ever show it. Like season 15 was the only time it was ever on TV here now, and now it's hardly even shown once a week. So that's pretty crazy. I think it sort of dropped off here as well, isn't it? Yeah, it's weird. Like finished last Monday, and it was only ever on like once a week, which was the Monday time slot, and it's not been on since. So that's something to get used to getting onto.
How do you see it? Streaming or on a network?
TV. I used to stream it, and then I'd watch it on TV as well. It used to be on a channel called Sky Witness here, which is ABC Studios own it. So it used to be on a Monday night here. But it isn't. The last episode aired last week here, so fortunately it's over now.
And is that true for all of Europe too?
I'm not too sure. I think it's shown a lot more in Europe than it is in the UK. I think it's a lot bigger in Europe than it is here in the UK. It used to be big here, but it sort of died off a bit. I know a lot of people still watch it, but they don't really show it much.
Yes.
A couple of fun questions. Who do you think would most likely would join the FBI if they hadn't become an actor out of the cast?
Out of the cast? Wow. I don't know, maybe Adam. He had a lot of interest in the forensics and everything. Not that all the cast, but especially over the years. But maybe Joe.
I think Joe would be a good one. He'd probably be like old school, like Rossi would be. He'd be probably really old school.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Okay, what's next? What was your favourite show to produce on?
Criminal Minds. It was such a sweet crew. I came in season 7, so I was well received. You know, it's always a little nervous coming into a show that's already going.
Yeah.
And whoever the producer was before me, they probably loved them to death, you know, and I don't know. But from day one, and I break the ice with a lot of humor. So maybe that lessened it. But
Yeah.
criminal, it was the easiest for me in a lot of respects. It was already set up, so I wasn't going to come in and
Yeah.
change it. I did over the years tweak a few things, but how we operated, my job is to steer the ship. I'm the captain of the ship, but I just steer it, you know, and I
Yeah.
move it, groove, and something comes up, somebody comes to me, got a problem, we solve it, keep the ship moving in the waters.
Definitely.
So I
Think
didn't, I
like
didn't, I didn't want to change anything. Also, it was 4 off ramps from my house, so I could get there
there you
in
go.
8 minutes and door to door.
That's crazy.
It was
That's
absolutely
crazy.
best. Usually, I know from most of the 90s, I worked at Fox, and
Yeah.
the ride was like an hour every day each way.
And LA traffic does not help with that, I'm guessing.
Not at all.
Season 7 for me was like, I think
I
that was
love
my favorite season. Like that's the season I first fully like became part of the fandom and like fully was inside it all. So that was really fun for me. Like to see that side of the show as well, because I was like a media student and I was really enjoying like learning the aspects of all that, and like some of the scenes were really interesting to me to watch and be like how you guys filmed them and stuff. So season 7 for me was like my all-time favorite.
Was that your opinion or some who's?
Yeah, mine.
Yeah,
Yeah, mine. See, yeah, you can't beat season 7. Like
I mean,
it's the winner.
we've had some guests over the time, some of my friends and other friends. They'll come and they'll see a scene being shot and they don't know anything about the business and they just don't understand how many shots it takes, how long it takes. If we're on stage, you know, we're moving walls and shooting through windows and doing all kinds of crazy stuff because I guess they don't feel like it's an audience show. We're sitting
Yeah,
in the formation and watching it take place in front of you. They know it's going to be different, but when they see
definitely.
how long it takes for you to shoot what's going to be 2 minutes on the screen, it's really crazy.
Definitely. Okay, so hold on. There's quite a lot of questions here, so let's have a look. Okay, how is the pilot of Triage coming along? Has the coronavirus affected its schedule in any way?
Well, it has. I signed on to do a pilot with Erica, and we knew the director wasn't going to be available until June because he was going to be touring the world with his new movie, the premiere of his new movie. And then this whole thing started. So we were going to get him in June, prep in July, and shoot in August. Now, we could still do that if they loosen things up where we could start just taking meetings in June and then get into some hard prep in July. We hope there's going to be episodes ordered with it. We won't stay in continuous production. We'll have to shut down and build fresh sets and all that kind of garbage.
BJ says hi, by the way. She's joining in right now.
I know. Hi, BJ. I also saw Leslie.
Yeah, there's people here from Brazil and everything like that as well. That join. She's crazy.
Hi from Italy.
Okay.
Hi, T. Are you seeing
Okay.
the same as I am?
Yeah, exactly the same. I can see all the comments and what everyone's saying. A lot of my friends are watching this as well, which thanks guys for the support. I love you all.
Hey, can I
Okay.
take my iPhone and no, I can't. I can't answer them.
I don't know. I think you might be able to. It might not let you know. You can say what you want to comment. That's fine. Okay. Are you still in touch with any of the cast?
Yeah, probably Joe more than anybody. He's really good at he's continually getting these emails and compliments and thank yous from people for the support that we gave them somehow or their lives. I know it's changed yours and others.
Yeah.
Not just from an entertainment standpoint, but from a crime standpoint and being careful of what you're doing and not getting
Yeah.
yourself into situations you can't get out of. But I think Joe, I email with him at least twice a week.
Oh, I love Joe.
Yeah,
Joe's a
nice.
fun guy.
Every once in a while, usually Kirsten, she'll take the 8 cast, Erica and myself, and send out a blanket text about something that happened. So we stay in touch that way. That probably happens once a week.
Yeah.
It was
Well, that's cool.
It was a lot more frequent earlier, but
Yeah, so it's been a year for you guys, hasn't it, since it finished filming? So like for us it's all new, but for you guys it's been a year.
May 12th, I think, was the last day of filming. I don't know. I was in the hospital. I had a surgery I went into surgery on the first day of filming of the last episode. So I woke up and that day was done.
Yeah, I remember all the behind the scenes that day. Like I was in Paris, so I was like, oh my god. So yeah, that was fun. Yeah, okay. What was the hardest episode or season to film?
Ooh, there's a lady from Russia. I see. Agent Kath. Say again, please.
What was the hardest episode or season to film?
This past season? Or
Just on any season. Any season.
I think the hardest one was the 2-part finale of season 10. I don't know the season numbers. Where we had the bank
Season 7.
Season 7.
Season 7.
See how you are.
Yeah.
Well, that was my first season.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, what did I walk into? It was huge. We had to shoot on the Universal lot. That's not something you can go take over a bank in the middle of Los Angeles and take it over for all the scenes leading up to the explosion and after. We built the interior of the bank and the vault, but it was 2 directors and we shot there a week for the exteriors and a week for the interiors.
It was, yeah, that's an amazing episode. Them two were like one of the highest rated ones as well.
Yeah, it was. And what was particularly difficult is we had to shoot and swap directors each day. In other words, if we were shooting a certain angle or a certain part that played in both episodes, we had to let one guy direct one day, and then the next day here comes Glenn. He shoots it, and that the other director sits down and rests for a day. So the logistics of all of that and having 2 directors prep together, and then one sits down and one goes. It was crazy, and I had an inkling of what Erica wanted to do a couple months beforehand. And I knew that the only way we were going to do that is if we got everybody to bless the downtown part of backlot of Universal as our set. And once everybody did, I had to, like 2 months ahead of time, agree to it, sign a contract, and pay for it. if anything went wrong along the way, it would have been my ass. But it all worked out. It was, the foreplanning was just spectacular. Everybody did a great job looking forward.
Yeah, it was a really good episode. Them two episodes are like in my top 5. So
Yeah,
good.
it was awesome.
Yeah, they were great. How many times did you guys shoot at Joe's house? Like, how many times did you guys film there?
Film where?
Joe Mantegna's house.
In whose house? I'm sorry.
Joe's. How many times did you guys film in
Oh,
his garden?
we ended 4 or 5 seasons there with some kind of a party or a wedding or a send off or something. And it was usually 2 nights or 2 days for each episode that we shot there. Yeah, this last time was 2 days because there was too many scenes to shoot in a day. We can shoot about 8 pages a day if they're not difficult, and those endings and stuff were usually like 16 pages.
Wow,
A lot
that is
of
a
work.
lot.
And then on this last one, we had a lot of day scenes, and his wife was kidnapped, and there was a lot of
The jet blew up.
and that too.
That was it.
Yeah, that was good.
That
I
was.
wasn't there for that. I was still in the hospital.
Did you at least see the video of it?
Yeah, I did see.
I think Jim posted that one.
People sent me videos. Yeah, well, I couldn't because it was the ending. We all had to be secret to the end.
Definitely. Did you ever watch any of the episodes, or do you just not have time?
Oh, I watch them a lot. Maybe off duty, not as much. But when an episode's finished, it goes through about 2 weeks of editing. Some with the editor, and then the director comes back to edit. And then we see it, what's called a director's cut. We're all in the room, the writers, the producers. We watch the director's cut, and then we all give notes. I didn't understand that part. Or why don't you think he should leave the room before so-and-so walks in? Gives their ideas, and we address them. They go back, try to edit to fit those new requests, and then we send it off to the network. The network blesses it or asks for amendments, and then we just finish it up with nice music and effects, and off you go. So
You got 42 minutes.
I see every episode 2-3 times before it's even close to airing.
That's pretty cool. Do you have a favorite storyline, or like any of your favorite storylines?
I liked when we went back in Kirsten's life a few seasons ago. When we went back,
I can't remember.
Learned about her family and her brother and all that stuff. I guess Joe, because it's more recent in my head with the guy, what's his name, Evan?
Evan Lynch.
Yeah.
The chameleon.
Yeah, the chameleon. So, because that's more recent, but I know they tried to touch on each character's personal life a little bit here and there. So no one was ever really full on,
Yeah.
Adam and Daniel had that one episode where they were.
I really enjoyed that episode. That was a really, I wasn't expecting that twist in it that was, and that was really, I think that was really well written.
Yeah. Well,
it was really good.
I have a question for you. Did you expect in the final episode the twist of Kirsten being the one leaving?
No, I was like, I know something's going to happen because I always felt like JJ was going to leave like the New Orleans thing, and I thought Rosie was going to retire, which I figured he's probably not gonna, he's never gonna. But the Kirsten one I wasn't expecting, especially like when you think back when she's telling JJ like you can't break the family up and leave, and then she went
Right.
and left, and I was like, what? But yeah, I think it was a bit bittersweet that she left because
It was.
yeah, I cried a lot at that. That it was 4 a.m. Um, but yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all. No, like I think that shocked a bit of everyone. But then at the same time, it's like, actually, she's more of a loving. She'd still be with them even if she wasn't there, doing all hacking and everything for them.
Thought
But yeah,
Emily did. I'm reading some of these questions.
go for it. Answer any of them.
Oh, everybody cried. Somebody said. Um,
I live streamed. I live streamed it. I stayed up and I live streamed it. I stayed up till 4 a.m. and watched both of them. And that was, and then it wasn't just because it was 4 a.m. and I hadn't slept in 24 hours, but yeah, it was really emotional to watch like both of them knowing that was it. But I think like they all did such a great job as well, like because you knew it was them as well saying goodbye and not just the characters. I think that everyone felt that it was them saying goodbye as well.
I just saw somebody ask, why didn't Emily ever direct one? That's not in her bag. Paget's not. I don't. Maybe down the road, but right now that's
Yeah.
furthest from mind. You know.
What was AJ like as a director?
She was great. Well prepared, all during prep, asking all the right questions. She handled her difficult scenes very well. Glenn kind of stayed on set with her the first day. After that, he said, "You're a good kid. Run with it." And she did it all by herself. She was great.
She's awesome. Okay. Hold on, there was one question on here. Let me find it. Where's it gone? Where is it? Have you got any funny stories from set about any of the cast or crew?
I do, but Shamar more. I don't know what season it was, but we started day one of an episode. Not sure exactly how it happened, but he shaved his beard. And so everybody freaked out. And what we did was we said, well, we have 2 more scenes to shoot for that last episode. And you can't grow a beard in a day. So we put this green screen Post-its on his mouth and chin and said we were going to visually put his beard back on. And I think you've seen it in stills, any rate, of him with these green pieces of paper on his face. And it was a real prank, and it paid off so good he had no idea. And so it was
he learned from that lesson.
the belly laugh. Yeah. From then on, he did ask, "Is it safe to shave for the next episode?" No. Well, I think we just told him the episodes are continuous and you have to look the same. And he got it all free.
I have a question. Let me just find where it will be. When the guys were doing a table read, was there any time like anyone was shocked by what they was reading and they kind of had to like stop for a minute?
No, sometimes there was a violent piece that even if you had read it already once, describing it and with the way the script's read was hard for some people to do. Because it is a dark show amongst everything else. It's a dark show. We could have been darker. We could have been more like Dexter, but we weren't cable, you know, we were network broadcasting. They had, we'd get notes on every episode. Make sure you don't see the knife physically go into the neck. You can see it on its way. You can see it coming out, but yeah, can't see it. You know, you can see blood coming out, but we don't want to see the knife actually going in. So there was a lot of that. So the shock, yeah, I guess that way. Taylor Reid's always had a funny moment. Usually the cast would read some line and then another cast would make some quirky joke about it, and we'd all bust up. We'd have to kind of stop the Taylor Reid for a minute while everybody recovered, and then we'd start again. Taylor Reid's always had a joke or two.
I can guess that with how funny they all are.
Bobby?
Yeah, I'm gonna say we'll read some comments. How was working with Mark Hamill?
Oh, it was great. It was a thrill for me, of course, being a Star Wars fan. He's just a great guy. His daughter was going to SC at the time. So that was fun for me. And he's just a gentleman and a real pro, and it was something like he doesn't normally play.
Yeah, definitely.
He's always Mr. Nice Guy or Mr. Hero, and now he's
not a serial killer.
really bad.
Yeah, that was a good storyline. Like, it was a good storyline, especially when you didn't know who he was until the end, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, it's Mark Hamill." Another question: how long does it usually take to find the right location? You what?
Oh, that was too. Oh yeah. No, BJ's online. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, BJ. How does it usually take to find the right location?
Oh, well, we were fortunate. Erica was always great in giving us advanced story paragraphs or the first script out of the writer, which there's usually 3 or 4 more before it goes to camera. So we could find the locations. Once in a while we had a difficult location, but generally speaking, within 2 days of prep, we had our location set. 8 days of prep, we'd have them locked in by day 1 or 2. But we did a lot of advanced scouting. We had 2 location teams. So they were always looking ahead to the next episode. And that became actually one of the easiest parts of the show.
So I'm just reading a lot of the comments. A lot of people are from Europe and Italy, Australia, Russia, Brazil, Germany, France. How was it working with Jim Clementine?
Clemente?
Yeah, Clemente, sorry.
Yeah, no, he was great. I mean, he was there when I got there. At that point, he was strictly a advisor because then he started whatever season 8 or 9, started writing 1 episode a year. But he was very, very good. His recollection of some things that happened were a lot darker than you ever saw on the screen. But he was great to have around because he knew the procedures of how the FBI would go through, not just the profiling and stuff, just other criminology tactics and methods and stuff.
Definitely. Cool. Let's see, what is everyone asking? Let's get up on here.
And a live with BJ would be great. Yeah, go do it.
Yeah, next Wednesday, same time, I'll be going live with BJ, so you guys can join then and ask your questions then as well. Um,
I'll ask a dirty
that'll be
question.
fun. I'm sure she'll answer it as well.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite guest star? Have I asked that already? I don't know if I've asked that already.
I mean, if it's not Mark Hamill, Jane Lynch. She is such a pleasure, funny, sweet, nice, everything you want in an actress. But Jane was great. I'll tell you, Heather Locklear had always been my benchmark for being a great person behind the scenes until I met Joe. And Joe just blew everybody out of the water. He's the sweetest, kindest, most caring guy and willing to do anything you ask of him. But yeah, I guess Jane Lynch was my favorite just because she's so quirky.
Yeah, she definitely, like, you get that vibe from her as well when you see her like over Instagram and everything like that. Like, I really enjoyed her character. Like,
Yeah,
I was so sad when she died.
I would watch her on Two and a Half Men as a psychologist. She'd make me pee my pants. She was so funny. Anyway,
Yeah, I've watched her for years. Like, anything she's in, she's just incredible, and she's just a generally amazing actress.
yeah.
Like, everything she's in. Here's a good question, actually. Do you have any advice for me on writing and producing? I'm writing a script and could use your wisdom.
Wow. Well, writing, I don't know how you get into it. Yeah, I mean, besides writing courses, taking courses on how to write and, the beginning, middle, and end, and all those things that go into writing from education. That's one thing. To get into the business, to get into the writer's room, first as a PA, then as a writer's assistant, then as a script coordinator, and then eventually, I think Erica gave every young person in the office, gave everybody a script, and multiple times, and now a couple of them have flown on their own, and they're been hired on other shows, and they're doing 3 or 4 a year for whatever show they're working on.
That's really cool.
That is one way to learn as far as episodic or television.
Get into television.
How you do it, if you've got I know some guys and gals, they had one great idea. They put it down on paper, they submitted it, and some person at some studio went ape over it, and their overnight success, Then there's some writers that struggle their entire adult life to get something and they don't. Like producing now, line producing, which is the physical producing of the film or series, that can come many different ways. Mine came from being an assistant director, although I started out as a assistant editor, first in the mailroom, assistant editor, and I went to an ad agency. I was producing commercials. Then I started assistant directing, and then over a period of time got to where I was a production manager. The next step is naturally a line producer, which is somebody like what I do, which is in charge of the physical production and to be fiscally responsible to the budget. I will say
so
every year I was there, we came in under budget at the end of the year. It was about $100 million each season, and we always saved a couple.
every dollar counts.
A lot of money.
So Bobby's got a question. Was there ever thoughts of a feature film like X-Files did? I think everybody wants that to happen.
Oh yeah. I could see it happening.
I think everyone would be on board for it as well. Like, I think they'd all be on board for that.
Well, ABC or Disney has the rights. It falls back on them. I can see them 5 or 10 years from now putting it back together with a younger set of actors, cast, maybe reprieve one of the oldies like Mark Hamill and the new Star Warses and stuff like that. If it goes too long, too far, if it goes longer than 5 years, then I think a lot of our actors will be unavailable or too old or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But
so
I could see it happening. I just that's not my world, so I don't know how that would come about.
Yeah. Okay. What did you think of Janine and Jennifer? Jennifer Love Hewitt and Janine Tripplehorn.
I mean, I enjoyed both of them. J Love was a little bit of a handful because she came to us with a brand new baby, and we had to make all kinds of adaptations to fit her schedule or the baby's schedule. So it became easier to write her less in each episode than to find ways to get her into them. But I love Jean. We got along great. I'm not really privy to why either of them didn't. Well, J Love wanted to have another baby, so that's why she was one and done. Jean did a couple episodes. I don't know why. I don't know if her contract was up. I can't quite remember. I don't know if it was her IT rating or whatever they call it. I know we didn't hear much from the fans until she was gone, and then there was all this, "Where is she? Bring her back, bring her back."
Yeah, I think that was what was the issue. Like after season 7, after Paget left again, everyone said like, "Oh, this position's cursed. Whoever they brought in never lasted longer than a couple of seasons or a season." And when Aisha joined, all that changed. Like, I love Tara Lewis. Like, I love Jean. I loved Alex Blake, but Tara was the best well-fit person next put into that.
She was too. She was, and she fit diversity. She fit a different type of analyst. How she looked at the crime and what her take was on it was always different than the others.
To answer the question of what I'm drinking, it's pineapple gin with grapefruit juice.
Oh, okay.
It's very nice.
Mine's blackberry. So.
It's 9 o'clock at night, guys.
Yeah.
So another question: what was the hardest part?
3 hours I can drink. In 2 hours.
Yes. What was the hardest part to film of the 200th episode?
The hardest part to film in what?
The 200th episode, if you can remember it.
In whose episode? Any?
The 200th.
Oh, wow. Well, that whole at this business, the hunt and chase all over this building and the storeroom and all that stuff was just crazy. Plus, it was the location, unusually for us, was like an hour and a half away. So we had to get rooms for people because after working driving down for an hour and a half, working for 12 hours, they didn't want to drive all the way home and then turn around 4 hours later and drive back. So we almost treated it like a true feature location day where we did that. We did that one day, the casino episode with Doug Arniakoski. We went to Palm Springs and put everybody up in the hotel, and that turned out to be not the best idea.
Okay. What was it like? What were Matthew and Joe like as directors?
Great. Joe was very cerebral. He's very easy. You ask him, well, what do you want? This? You want that? No, I don't need all that. Just give me the actors. You know, he would deal with his action pieces and all that very well, but he didn't do a lot of notes. He didn't do a lot of sketching out a set and where he wanted people. He'd just do it on the day. Very relaxed, very like he'd done it for 20 years. Matthew was very, oh, I got an idea. Let's do this. Oh, I got an idea. Let's do this. Oh, you know, and then we get it, and he'd change. He wouldn't change things, but he would just be really intense. And the spookier it was, and we always gave him the spooky ones. The spookier it was, the better it was. And he had one that was kind of straight Criminal Minds, nothing weird about it. Even the unsub was kind of bland. He didn't have much fun on that one, but he did a good job. He always did a good job, always brought it in right on budget. He never saved us any money. That's okay. We always try to budget enough hours in the day for the actor to do. We don't work longer than 12 hours. There's a lot of shows that still do, and they have safety issues because of it, but we never allowed that.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a couple more questions because we only have 10 minutes left.
Okay,
is that a storyline you wanted but never happened?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. The guy that preceded Joe. Who was the #1 actor that preceded Joe? Left after 2 seasons. Why am I not?
Mandy. Him that played Gideon.
Oh yeah, Gideon. Yeah, sorry. Sorry, I got lost. What was your question again?
Is there anything you would want it to happen in an episode that never happened, like a storyline?
Yeah. We wanted to have Gideon back for the finale, and I was in touch with for over a month and a half with the people on Homeland, and they were shooting in Morocco. We kept trying to figure out ways for them to shoot him where he'd have a week off, where we could fly him back, shoot his scenes. Obviously he was dead, but it was going to be, you know, like a dream sequence. We just never could make it happen. Probably 2 months of really hard work trying to figure out how to do it. And he wanted to come back and do it, but because they were in Morocco, it was just impossible. I think their finale is this Sunday. Homeland. Do you get Homeland there?
Yeah, but I've never watched it. I've not.
Oh yeah.
Never really. I don't watch that much TV, to be fair, in general.
It was funny. They told me he left because the show was so dark it was messing with his head. And then he goes and winds up on another show. Just
you know, yeah, that came out, and I remember everyone saying that. I remember that came out in an interview, and everyone was like, "What?"
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Next question. I probably know the answer to this one. How many times did the cast or crew turn up drunk? We all know it can be fun to turn up to work after having one too many, especially the ladies.
Yeah.
We've all heard that story.
To my knowledge, not. Tardy, yeah. It was a big joke with Shamara. He was just rarely on time. And it was a joke, but you know what? We never lost any time. We still got the days, you know. A couple of times we wrote them out of one scene just because it was going to delay us too much. But nobody ever showed up under the influence, to my knowledge, during my tenure.
Most heartbreaking episode.
Say again?
Most heartbreaking episode.
Phew. Probably this episode 10 of 15, with just everybody breaking up, and it's the last they were going to be together. And I mean, they left it open, but you kind of knew it's going away.
Yeah,
that was pretty hard.
Definitely. So we are going to have to leave it there. I do have one thing to say. If you are a European fan or a UK fan, there is a group on Facebook you can join who are trying to put together a Criminal Minds convention. I will post a link here, and I'll post it on all my social medias after. You guys can join it. They just need 1,000 members. They've already got it all set up, ready to go. So you can all do that.
That would be lovely.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool, like, to get to go around Europe and have the cast there. Like, we never get them opportunities over here, so that's pretty. Thank you for joining me.
My pleasure. I hope satisfied somebody's need.
But yeah, it's been lovely to chat with you over video and not email.
Be glad to do it again. And maybe I'll
chime
in on BJ's next week.
Yeah, but we can see what we can do. Thank you, Jimmy, and thank you for everyone that has tuned in. Sorry we didn't get through everyone's questions. There was a lot of questions, and I hope everyone enjoyed tuning in. And I'll be back next Wednesday with BJ at the same time, so you guys can send me your questions on here or to BJ, and I'll sort something out for everyone can send them to. And thank you for tuning in. Hope you have a good day.
Thanks so much.
Bye.